How's it going, everybody? I got this phone yesterday. It's pretty nice. It's the Nokia 3310 3G, as you could see. It's the updated version of the Nokia 3310 2017 that came out early 2017. This cost 2,790 pesos, which is a little over half of what this cost. This is the Cherry Mobile Android 1 that's still running great up until today. I got this in 2015 for 4,000 pesos, which is a little under 100 US dollars. And I actually recently just completed a video. I just uploaded it, waxing poetic about the Google's Android One initiative for low-cost phones. You guys could watch it. I'll link to it below. The reason I'm making this video is that there's a marked difference between this Nokia 3310 3G version and the other versions of Nokia 3310 that I've seen online. There's a marked difference between this and even the much more recent Nokia 150 that came out under HMD Global, and this Nokia 105 that came out in 2016. This is the Nokia 105. This is its box. I got this in 2016. It's still working great. So as you can see from the box, there's a Microsoft branding here. This is one of the very few phones that Microsoft put out under the Nokia name when they bought it from the original Nokia. But before they sold it to HMD Global, the China company that now puts out these feature phones under the Nokia brand name. And this is the Nokia 150 that I bought this year in July 2017. As you can see, there's no more Microsoft branding. Global, that's the Chinese company that's now putting out phones under the Nokia name. There's some changes. Microsoft actually didn't change much from the original Nokia when they bought it. Just some very minor stuff, which I'm not going to go into. But I just wanted to show you this. So on the left key, there's a go-to. It's kind of like a shortcut that you can customize. You can even like sort all these entries in the left go-to key. Right? So for my first entry, I have missed calls, calculator, received calls, and so on. You could sort these in the order that you want. And you can also customize what goes under this left key and the right key. So, yeah. And oh yeah, and these navigation buttons, the up, down, left, and right, they correspond to certain features that have been there since the start of Nokia days. I mean, since the very first Nokia phone that became popular. I don't know if it's there since the very first Nokia phone, but it was certainly there under the very first Nokia phone that got popular, which is basically if you press this left button, you can write a text message, and if you press right, you get access to the calculator. If you press down, you get access to the phone book, and so on. For this Nokia 150 that came out under HMD's banner, HMD meaning the Chinese company that's putting out these phones now under the Nokia branding, it's basically similar, although the unlocking mechanism changed a bit, which I'm not going to go into. But it's the same. They retained the go-to shortcut thing here on the left. You can click go-to, and then you have a bunch of entries, lock keypad, received calls, silent mode, a shortcut to just easily put it in silent, everything that you want to put here. You can put here everything that you don't want to be there. You can take it out, you can sort it, organize it in whatever order you want it to be in. So, and then for the right key here, you can also customize it. You can have it on camera, or you can change it. And then these keys, call and hang up. I'm not going to go into that really. But these buttons, these navigation buttons, you can also, well, I'm not really sure if you could pair functions. Sorry, if you can pair apps, or what do you call them back in the day? Just features into them. I'm not really sure, but all I know is if you press the left key, as before, as every Nokia I've known for the past 20 years, you can, left key goes to composing a text message, right key goes to the calendar, The key below goes to contacts. Pressing the upper button activates the torch, the flashlight here, so pressing it again turns it off. Same as this, I press the upper button, it activates the torch here, the flashlight. And pressing it again turns it off. So both phones, you can activate the torch by pressing the button here, the upper navigation button, the upper navi key or whatever you choose to call it. Pressing it again turns it off. Pressing it again turns it off. That's how it's always been. That's how I remembered Nokias to be. Like, every button has a function. Well, every button has a function. The middle key also does. Even in the older Nokias, they also that had a kind of different layout for these buttons here. The navigation key has always had the feature. I've always remembered left key, compose text, right key. If it's not the calendar, it's something else. But they always had, they always did something. And the more recent Nokias, like this one, whether this one that came out under the Microsoft banner or this one that came out under HMD's first generation of Nokia feature phones, they retained this shortcut thing. This shortcut thing actually is a fairly recent-ish innovation of Nokia. It was there in the last generation of Nokia before they sold themselves to Microsoft. This Nokia 105 that I got in 2016 under Microsoft, it came from a very venerable line. This is the Nokia 105 that was the last of its kind under the actual original Nokia company. On the older Nokia, Go To is mapped to the right function key and Menu is mapped to the left. The middle OK button doesn't actually map to Menu, but that's fine. However, the navigation buttons, left, right, bottom one, they all map to traditional Nokia functions. Left for composing a text message, right for opening the calendar, bottom for shortcut to your contacts. This is a 2011 or 2012 era Nokia. It's the Nokia 200. And it also has this go-to shortcut. So, can you see it? If I click this button that corresponds to the go-to menu, I can see a bunch of shortcuts here. I can scroll down and I can also sort them. You can also have the option to organize them. And you can also have the option to choose what goes in them. You also have the option to choose what goes into this go-to menu. And same as the other two more recent Nokias, although as you could say they're no longer the original since this one came out under Microsoft and this one came out under HMD. Okay, this is the original, one of the last before it went extinct, and they have this go-to thing. Right, and also left button activates composing text message feature, right goes to calendar, the bottom key does something here with these primitive smartphone features, let's just ignore it, and the upper button also kind of navigates here, but it doesn't matter. Each of these four directional keys, they do something, and I believe you can also try to set what they do. If you don't want the default shortcuts, you could change it. And let's just not talk about these buttons because these are just this one, 2, 3, 4. These are specific to this phone, but what's common among all phones is that they have this button that pairs with Go To, this button that goes in the right, and the navigation key. This is a circa maybe 2008 phone, I believe. I can't really remember. Let's just 2008, 2009. Also Go To, you click it. As I said, you can organize the shortcuts here. You can sort them. You can choose what appears here. You can also choose what shortcut you want for this key on the right. So I have it set to calculator. but you could set it to anything you want. And then this navigation key, so to the left, instead of having it compose a text immediately like the other defaults and the other Nokias, I had it set to the gallery. And the navigation key to the right, I had it set to calendar, so that's the default. The key to the bottom, that's what I had set to composing texts, and key on top, I had it set to the camera. But like I said, these 4 directional keys, navigation keys, whatever you call them, you could map them to any function you want. It's always been that way with Nokias. Even the older ones without this go-to thing. But this go-to thing has been around for the past 10 years. So what's wrong with this Nokia 3310 3G then? Well, I assumed anyway that it was going to have the same layout as both of them, especially this one, since they're both under HMD, the China company that's now selling phones under the Nokia branding, right? Well, I also saw tutorials and screenshots and stuff of the Nokia 3310 2017 edition, which is the one that came out earlier this year, but it only had 2G. And the layout was practically identical to this one. I looked at tutorials on how to transfer contacts easily through Bluetooth and syncing because I hate manually entering contacts. But anyway, I haven't manually entered a contact for over 10 years. Would you believe it? Even when people are still manually entering it, I have been syncing online. So it was a shock when I got this that I assumed I could at least move the stuff over through Bluetooth or import. This does have a memory card. I assumed I could import the VCF contact files, but I couldn't. There's no way. It has Bluetooth, but it's really only for audio. But what I read online is this one, the Nokia 3310 2017, I read that you could transfer contacts through Bluetooth easily without hacks or workarounds and stuff. So I thought that was cool. And then I saw tutorials, and on the screenshots of the tutorials, the layout of the 2017 version of this one, the 2G version, they call it Nokia 3310 2017. The layout looked very much identical to this one, this HMD produced Nokia 150. So I thought, well, that's cool. At least this will have 3G and I could easily transfer contacts. But when I got this, the layout is kind of different. To start with, when I unlock it, it's now mapped to the contacts, and the right by default is mapped to the camera, which I swap out to the calculator. So like this phone and every other Nokia phone, you could map out this button and this button, but that's all you could do. Gone is the go-to menu, the very handy go-to menu, which you could populate with all these functions that you want. That's gone. What you could do is I checked the freaking manual just to make sure that I wasn't missing anything. You could go to personalization, you could go to keypad and lock screen shortcuts, right key, left key, but that's it. Left key, you have the option for contacts, but there's no more go to like this. It's gone. There's no more go to. So that sucks. And then when you enter the menu, from screenshots I saw when I was checking out the function for importing contacts, this says something else. This says options or something. It looks similar to this. The fonts, whatever, they were words. But here it's, instead of saying back, it's an arrow. Instead of saying options or whatever, it has a hamburger menu. It doesn't really matter to me if they chose to replace wording with iconography. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that they got rid of the go-to thing. And the biggest crime / sin / offense, or every other thesaurus word you could think of for bad stuff, is that this navigation keypad thing, I'm pressing up, pressing left, pressing right, pressing down. Nothing happens, and I cannot find where in the menu, I can't find how to personalize it. See, it's gone. I expected pressing left to open up the compose text message function like this. I click the left, compose, click the right, the calendar, or whatever they want to map it to, but it's gone. And I've had this is like a mainstay of Nokia for over 10 years, for 20 years in fact. This go-to thing, fine, this is like, okay, at for the past 10 years. But this navigation key thing with all the functions mapped there that you could even customize, that's been there for over 20 years, and it's gone. If you're in the home screen, these 4 directional navigation buttons, they don't do nothing. This one, this button here, it's like this upper button here. So it pairs with whatever is up here. It's mapped to that. This one is mapped to this. This one is to hang up, this one is to call. Okay, that's fine. And then this left key and right key, you could customize what it is, that's fine. However, you could only customize it to a single function. The go to is gone. But the biggest crime is this. The navigation key thing, they no longer are mapped to any function at all from the home screen. Of course, when you enter the menu, these navigation buttons, they allow you to navigate up, down, left, right, like arrows, but as shortcuts to functions, this Nokia 3310 3G, it doesn't have it anymore. I just thought I'd make a video out of it because there aren't that many videos about the Nokia 3310 3G yet online. The videos I've seen were mostly for the 2G version that came out earlier this year. You know, I just thought people would want to know about it. And lastly is the syncing of... This is actually not what the video is about. The video, I just wanted to show the buttons. But since we're on the topic of syncing contacts, because that's how I first came to see the menu layout of the Nokia 3310 through screenshots and other videos and the actual user manual of Nokia, is that's how I came to see the original Nokia 3310 2017 menu layout. When I was looking at the tutorial on how to sync contacts, because apparently you can't do that with a cheaper Nokia, but you could do it with a more expensive Nokia 3310 2017. So I thought the Nokia 3310 3G, which is the second generation of the Nokia 3310 2017, I thought, well, it should retain that function. But it's not there. What the other tutorials say were actually active in the 2G version. Let's see. So I enter into contacts. So menu. Let's start from the start. Menu, contacts. This one, it's supposed to say options or something, but it's now a hamburger menu. That's fine, whatever. It's just icons. I click it. And then settings. It's supposed to say something like sync or import or something in the with the screenshots or other tutorials I saw, but okay, fine. Let's click it. And it has an option to sync Android via Bluetooth. I haven't tried it out, but I'm assuming if you enter if your phone book is living in your Android phone, you could sync it to this. Fine, that's okay, but you're screwed, I guess, if you have an iPhone or whatever from another Nokia phone, or if you want to import through VCF, whatever. But the Nokia 3310 2017, I distinctly remember other tutorials had other options, not just syncing Android via Bluetooth. There was like pair with another phone. Some of them were paired with feature phones, in fact, and they grabbed the data, the phone book data from feature phones to this. Or some of them, I saw even that you could sync it with your Google accounts, or sync it with basically anything, like iPhones even, but not just, in other words, not just Android. Those are some changes. Never mind the contacts, like I could figure out how to sync it through Android anyway. It's not a big deal, but it is a change. But the biggest gripe I have are the hardware button things. So that's the point. That's the reason I made this video. So this is my collection of Nokia phones. I keep them in a box like this. Actually, I have more phones here, but they're less well loved. These are a bunch of Samsungs and a bunch of chargers. These are the most recent ones that I've had in my possession. This one was around 2008, 2009 or something. And this is Nokia 105. That was the last under the actual Nokia company. This is Nokia 105. That was under Microsoft. We talked about it earlier. This was it's very short-lived, this line, but it came from a very venerable line. Nokia 150. That was under HMD, after HMD bought out the Nokia name, or whatever arrangement that was with Microsoft, and that's the Nokia 3310 3G, the subject of this video. This is a slider phone. This is the Nokia C203. It's a fairly recentish phone. It's got a touch screen, and well, it has the go-to menu that I'm really fond of, that I talked about in the first part of this video. It's like a primitive smartphone. This is a flip phone. This is one of those three. I'm not sure if this is the original 3310 or the 30-something 10, but it's similar to that line. That is a fairly recentish phone too. 2008 maybe, 2007. It's a monochrome phone, but it actually still turns on, would you believe it? But it wouldn't run without a SIM card, so I didn't bother, showing it for this video because it's a hassle to find a SIM card. And then that one is also fairly recentish. That's from the past 10 years. Oh wait, no, sorry, I mistook this. This is the one that's from 2009 that I used up until 2011. This one, what is this? I think this is from 2012, sorry. That one is from 2010, 2012 too. This one was from 2009 to 2011. This is a very good phone. I mean, that one could do 3G, Wi-Fi. That one is a Nokia 3210. It's, I guess, a precursor to this phone. It's similar to this line of phone. That one is a monochrome phone. That one was circa 2003, 2004, 2005. I used it when I was in Taiwan. That phone in the upper right, that one is a very interesting phone. Let me show you. That one is a very interesting phone. It's got a pen and stuff. It's handy for writing in Chinese if you didn't know how to use the keystroke input. The white one, that's the 6610 or something. I used that from 1999 or 2000 to 2003. This one, they look all metal construction, even the back. The camera, well, it's a kind of primitive camera, but it's got pretty good optics. So it's like, see, metal. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and found the portion of Nokia 3310 3G hardware buttons informative. Thank you for watching. See you next video.